Hey everybody, Matt Hartman here again for Drunkard's Walk. So what you're about to listen to here is a re-release of an episode from Season 3, and this is Episode 5. So if you listened to last week's re-release, you would have heard the episode that was right before this, Gold Glass to Beef on Weck. Now we're going to travel from Beef on Weck to the heat death of the universe. And the reason we're doing this one is, as I mentioned last week, Jethro and I had a chance to head on up to Buffalo. We also continued on up to Niagara Falls and got to go do the escape rooms at Niagara Escapement with Rob, the person who gave us our suggestion of heat death of the universe. So we're going to tack on a little ending on there where we talk a little bit about this episode and the fact that we are there. And next week, that is October the 11th, Season 7, Episode 1 will drop. So hopefully you're looking forward to that, and hopefully you've had a nice hiatus. I know that we have. Thanks so much. Enjoy the episode. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's Drunkard's Walk, the podcast. Here we are again, deep into Season 3, Episode 5. It's me, Matt Hartman, and of course, I'm always joined by none other than Jethro Nolan.
Hi, everybody. That's me and my name.
It is you and your name. Boy, Jethro, this is, once again, just another stellar season, I think, so far, don't you?
I agree. This is our best season yet.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
I think anybody who listened to our earlier seasons was an idiot because they should have waited for this bit of gold that we're putting out now.
Gosh, I don't know if I would go as far as to call anybody who listens to us an idiot. That seems like a poor choice because I'm hoping that they continue to listen to us. You know what I mean?
I stand by my statement.
Okay, sounds great. Well, I appreciate you all for listening. No matter how many episodes you've listened to, I hope you've listened to all of them. And if you hadn't, hey, go back and listen to seasons 1 and 2 so you can hear how much better this is than what that was. I guess.
And also, seasons 4 or 5 going to be way worse. We're actually peaking right now. This is as good as we're getting.
That's right. Episode. That's right. It's going to be one of those little like bell curve looking deals. And this is the right here in the middle, right here, Season 3, because we're going to stop at Season 5, right?
Oh yeah. The pandemic will be over. We'll be back to doing shows on stage.
Not sure if even all of that.
The pandemic will be over, Matt.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds great. But anyway, we've been having a great old time. And last week we had our auction winner with us. We had a guest the whole time. This week it's gonna basically just be me and Jethro, except that, you know, like always, we're gonna have a little guest on at the top here to talk to us about a topic suggestion that he came up with because this individual likes to come up with suggestions that are, what is the word I'm looking for?
Quirky?
Difficult? Quirky? Okay, quirky, difficult,
challenging,
painful, challenging. I'm not sure what the right word is going to be, but we're going to let him talk a little bit about it himself. We've got Rob. Oh, I already,
Leveille.
You just told me.
Leveille.
Leveille.
He's
Leveille. Oh gosh. See,
I listen to our guests.
Here's the problem. In my head, if I hadn't looked at your name, Rob, I would have gotten it. But I looked at it and I wanted to pronounce letters that weren't there, and that's just how I go. Rob, welcome to Drunkard's Walk. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys doing?
Super.
Good. Yeah, good. So Rob, we got to talk a little bit first about where we're talking to you from, because all of our guests so far have been based in the continental United States. Are you in the continental United States?
I am in Niagara Falls, Canada, which, if you look carefully at a map, is kind of hiding in the continental US.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit, but you are actually in Canada. That's amazing. We're so excited to talk to you. What's it like up there? Because down here, it's a huge mess.
Luckily, our politics is boring and our weather is kind of mild. So,
wow,
not too many.
Very nice.
That's
a delightful
awesome
combination.
I love it. We're recording this way back in January, middle of January, and so I mean, yeah, things here are just rotten. But I'm glad to hear that things up there are going well. Now, Rob, you have you've commented before. You've given us some topics in the past. In fact, we actually used one of your topics one time. Do you remember what that was, Rob?
I do. So what happens, I'm quite aware that you always use the first one that comes in.
Mhm.
So I try to be the first, but if I'm not the first, I feel safe. So I troll a little bit so you can have a chuckle at the subject that was posted. So the last time there was a couple already in there, they got past the gate first, and I thought, let's have a little bit of fun. And I typed in anal leakage, hoping that you guys would get a response.
Yep.
You're the cause of anal leakage. There we go.
Yeah,
And
indeed.
that's one that I pressed for because we got to the original destination too quickly.
That's right.
And I, being the horrible human being that I am, was like, we should go to anal leakage.
Yeah. In fact, I believe in that episode, I say something about like, well, thank God we got this other topic because guess what else came in? Boy, we wouldn't want to do that. And then Jethro was like, you know what? We owe it to our listeners to do it. So we did it. And it turned out that it like didn't have any ingoing links or something along those lines. So it was painful in a number of ways.
But also, I will say that it supports my argument that our earlier seasons were garbage. And
there you go. That's true. And also, we stopped doing the use the first one that comes in thing. Now we just have a list that we keep, and we've got a whole bunch of them on there. And we have a randomizer that goes through and picks one out. So that's how we found yours today, Rob. And that one is the heat death of the universe. Which, good Lord. Boy, what made you suggest this one? Was it again just having some fun?
Well, we're living in happy, cheerful times nowadays, obviously, and just those kind of topics. Now, I think that was, again, just trying to be a little bit different, having a little bit of a troll with you guys to see the kind of topics we can come up with. You've had the gamut, you've had literature, you've had math, you've had science. So I felt it was a fair game, and be interesting to see which direction that one goes in.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I know little tiny bit about what this is. Do you know anything about this? What the heat death of the universe actually is?
The Cole's notes, like most people that like to think they're smart, I tried reading Stephen Hawking's, and after the second chapter, I'm going to go back to watching Cosmos. So the heat death of the universe is basically on a long enough timeline, the universe will run out of energy, or the temperature gets so low that action can no longer happen. It's something along that lines. It's, that the magical end of science that doesn't make sense to normal people.
Okay.
Isn't it tied to entropy as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we're talking about the end of all things, essentially. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good. Perfect. I wanted to make sure that I had that straight.
But this is not get the warning that anal leakage did, right?
Well, exactly. Right. Yeah. Now this is kind of our Valentine's Day episode. This is coming out a couple days after Valentine's Day. And I think that's a great, I think there are a lot of people out there that on Valentine's Day are kind of like, where's that heat death of the universe? There's a lot of people are, they get real into it and they're, love and whatever. But there's some folks out there that this is the week. This is the week that they're like, oh, if only a couple days earlier we could have had this. That'd have been all right. Rob, tell us a little bit about so we met because I came to Niagara Falls on a trip and wound up going to do one of the escape rooms that you where you were working and you had designed. Is that still something that you're doing? You still running escape rooms up there in Niagara Falls?
It is. So when you came to visit, we were the Crux. We were a multi-location business. I've designed, I think, 9 permanent rooms and 3 holiday rooms for the Crux.
Wow.
And going into COVID, we parted our ways. So I've severed myself from that company, started a new escape room business in the same location that you had visited in Niagara Falls. And starting from scratch, we built some new experiences and then immediately got shut down by the government under quarantine rules. So we still haven't had any actual customers. But yeah, still designing rooms, still building rooms. We're looking at trying to do the remote, rooms over Zoom.
Sure.
I've discovered that while I have skill sets to make escape rooms, I don't have skill sets to make the web magic that's necessary for the online rooms to make it look professional. So we've got some folks we've brought in to help with that.
Okay.
It's just fun on a zero revenue. All the fun challenges of operating during quarantine. We're really excited to be open again, though. Our newest room is it's our first foray into there's no real combination locks, padlocks in it. It's an all tech room.
Oh, wow.
I taught myself how to do PLC programming and wiring. So the entire room is designed with a technological background to it. But it's a witch's cottage, so everything's magic. But you have to interact with the physical space of the room as opposed to opening locks and keypads.
Cool.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, that's my hat's off to you for being able to design those rooms, because the experiences are just wonderful when they're done well. And I would imagine that continuing to design new rooms would always yield more and more challenges, because there's only so many, numbers to letters ciphers that you can do before you feel like we've covered that area. We've got to move on to another thing.
It's funny because folks always say that, it must be hard coming up with new ideas. And I've taken on a new business partner, and he said that same thing to me, you must run out of ideas. And after 2 weeks of working with him, he realized, no, there is a limitless amount of ideas, and we don't have enough time, money, or space to implement all of the ideas. It's once you get into it, it's just so, you guys do the theater work. It's basically theater meets Dungeons and Dragons meets board games. You're hosting an event for somebody, and you're trying to create these moments. And when you think of it from those moments, it's a lot easier to design it. It's what reaction will they get when this happens? I've grown way past, what the puzzle is, and more about what the experience is, and that the puzzle is just something along the path.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, I love it. So what is the name of this new venture that you have, so that now if any of our listeners are in Niagara Falls, they can look you up?
So we're a little bit punny with this one. Where we live in Niagara Falls, we're located on what's called the Niagara Escarpment. It's basically a long cliff. That's where Niagara Falls is there. So we're called Niagara Escapement.
Nice.
I see what you've done. What you've done. This is great that we run into Niagara Falls here, because our last episode actually ended at Beef on Weck, a very famous Buffalo, New York, sandwich. And now here we are, just crossing the border right into Niagara Falls. And I guess next week we'll probably wind up in, I don't know, somewhere in Ontario, and eventually the North Pole, I would guess.
Yeah, and before times when we got to travel, Buffalo was a regular spot for going out for food.
There you go. There you go. So you probably have you had a Beef on Weck or two?
I've had a Beef on Weck. We usually go over for the wings. If you go to Buffalo, you got to go for the wings.
Oh, there you go. Now, see, our guest last week would argue with you on that. He was very, those wings, they took over the Beef on Weck's spot. It should have. So, I don't know what to say about that. But, Rob, this has been great. Thank you so much for coming on, talking about this, giving us this topic suggestion. It's great to talk to you again. It's good to see you again. I haven't seen you in a couple years, maybe now. But I hope to get back up there once we're again allowed to travel anywhere, especially across a border to try out the new rooms. And looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, and if we get the remote stuff set up, I'll let you guys know.
Absolutely. I've done a couple in some various places. In fact, you recommended one to me that was also up in Canada, and I can't remember the exact location, but
Kingston, Ontario.
Yes, Kingston. Yes, we did two of them actually up there. We did a Peter Pan themed one and a hot chocolate one, and both were quite a bit of fun. So
I haven't done the hot chocolate one yet. I've done their 3 other remote rooms, and they were all very enjoyable.
Yes, they're great. So, and that's a word out to anybody out there. If you're listening to this podcast, you're gonna enjoy escape rooms. Go look them up. Once we can go to them in person, support these things, because they're great. They're so much fun. And they're the type of thing that you do once, so you got to tell other people about it so then they can go and do it. And then, because you go and try to do it again, and it's just you can't capture that same magic. So, that's so great. So thank you so much. We appreciate it. And, we'll see you on the other side here, hopefully, before the heat death of the universe.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Take care, Rob.
Cheers. Well, delightful.
Yeah, indeed. All right, Jethro. So we have got to find our way from Beef on Weck to the heat death of the universe.
I mean, it's going to find its own way there. This may be the first drunkard's walk where the universe is actually going to do the same walk along with us, just on its own time span.
That's true. I hope that we reach it before the universe does. But
wouldn't that be ironic if this episode were preempted because the heat death of the universe intervened?
It'd be more interesting if it was preempted by those who are listening. So really we could finish the episode, but they don't get to hear the end of the episode. I think that'd be pretty great.
There you go.
I'm all right with it. But one of the things that we also are going to need to do is we're going to need to come up with our predictions about how many steps it's going to take us to get.
We do, in fact, and it would be remiss of me not to mention that we've been trending lower the last dozen episodes or so. We've gotten pretty good at this.
We have,
or pretty lucky. So
yes.
it's made the prediction game a little bit more challenging because we're not off by 4 or 5 places. Usually, you guess one number and I guess a number that's either one above or one below that.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So. But it's also, I have to say, like initially when we started this whole endeavor and this whole podcast, it would be like, well, these two topics are so far apart. And then they would take us 7, 8, 9, 10 steps to get there. And it would be like, oh, they were pretty far apart. Now, I think that these things are so far apart. And then we get there in 4, 5 links. And so now I don't even know, like, I'm thinking like Beef on Weck, Heat Death of the Universe, does have nothing in common. But it doesn't necessarily matter. Thank you, Wikipedia.
If Stanley Milgram has taught us anything, it is that things are far more closely connected than we think. Stanley Milgram.
I don't know Stanley Milgram.
He's a famous psychologist who did the experiment of his that you've likely heard is the sort of shocking obedience ones, where you get people to administer a shock to innocent people in another room, and people would go surprisingly high on what they would do in terms of that experiment. But Stanley Milgram also did another one where he basically mailed out letters to people randomly in America and said, hey, I'm trying to get this letter to this random dentist in New York.
Oh, yeah.
Can you send it to somebody you think who might be able to get it to them? And that's where we got the whole 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon thing, where every human being is connected to everybody else by generally 6 degrees or fewer.
Right. Yeah, I have heard of that. I guess I never made that connection, or maybe I did. Maybe I heard that and then I just promptly forgot it. But I have heard of the experiment of the sending the letters. I should mention too, I'm having a drink tonight, Jethro. I don't know if you are drinking on this walk. We didn't even ask Rob, but
poor Rob.
I know.
Well, we'll fix that in post.
Okay, yeah, I'll go back. Sure.
I'm having a brandy. There we go. Thanks, Rob.
Oh, that was. I think it was, didn't sound quite as Canadian, but all right. Well, I'm going to tell you what I'm drinking first here.
Please do.
I have a fantastic, another Liberty Pole Spirit. You may recall that I think it was last season, I had their peated rye whiskey, which, I'm not a huge fan of the ryes, but I like the peated quite a bit. So I decided to give it a try. Again, not really my cup of tea, but lucky me, just a couple of weeks ago, they came out with a peated bourbon.
Wow.
And they made, get this, 99 bottles of this bad boy.
Did they put them on a wall, perchance?
I thought they would have put all 100 on, but they didn't. I have bottle 16 of 99 right here in my hands.
Wow.
And it is a delicious bourbon. I love the peatiness of it. 123 proof. So that
is.
You might be carrying me the last couple steps of this
some
walk.
High octane. Well, yeah. What would be the change in that?
Hey, wait.
So I have. I cannot turn off the snark.
No, you have to.
It is part of my DNA.
Yeah.
My first word right after I was born, I looked back to my mom and I said, "Thanks."
Well done.
Thank you.
What about you? Are you drinking anything tonight, Jethro?
Oh, I am. I've heard so much about this beverage, water, that I'm giving it a shot this week. So
I don't know what that's. I don't know anything about that, but
it is. I am the control group for this experiment.
Fantastic!
Week, so.
Stanley Milgram would be pleased.
He'd be thrilled. He'd be thrilled.
All right. Well, let's see what we can do here. Then you got your prediction. You wrote it down.
I have written it down. We are ready to go.
Excellent. Well, me too. Well, let's take a look here then. So, Beef on Weck. Now, I'm assuming when I think Heat Death of the Universe, I think science broadly. I think astronomy somewhat more narrowly. I think Big Bang. I think the opposite of the Big Bang. What do you think of that?
I think physics. I think entropy. I think. Yeah. I also think apocalypticism.
Oh, interesting.
So, like when you look at just general predictions of the end of the world.
Yeah.
I feel like that's another possible route, because I don't disagree with any of the scientific paths you threw out there, but I also think like millenarians or the was it the Mayans with their 2012 prediction, like that kind of thing could also get us there.
See, I always just assumed that the heat death of the universe was going to happen way after Earth was uninhabitable. And so we weren't going to be around for it. Just my guess, but
definitely agreed. But presumably, whatever planet we go to after Earth.
Surely, after Earth. I forgot about Will Smith's After Earth.
Yeah, surely, if recent events have taught us anything, is that human beings will eventually pull together to face large existential threats in a cooperative manner that leads to the continued existence of the species.
Okay. If that's what you think will happen, I think that's great. Well, let's take a look at the page here and see if there's anything that connects to any of the things that we've mentioned so far. Nope. So we're going to have to find a different way.
They do mention caraway seeds. And I will say, if you've ever had caraway seeds, I wish that I were dead when having those.
That's fair. And perhaps throw your caraway is a way to think about the end times.
Boom.
No longer. What's the matter? What's wrong with you?
I don't care for that.
You don't like that at all? All right. Well, Austria is on here. Now, there have been some pretty famous physicists from Austria, haven't there?
In fact, there have been.
Yeah. I wonder.
Could get us do you know?
I wonder if that's perhaps a path in. Oh, I see PBS on here.
I was just about to mention PBS.
Yeah. Now
PBS has a lot of sciencey shows like Nova, which could also get us into more of a physics realm.
I think maybe the original Cosmos was actually on PBS.
Indeed.
So that was even mentioned by Rob. PBS.
He didn't explicitly say that, but I'm pretty sure he was referring to the Neil deGrasse Tyson version of Cosmos, not the Carl Sagan version.
Really? You think so?
And it was there in the subtext if you listen carefully.
Okay. Well, do you think so?
Let me also throw a curveball out there before. I know you're Johnny Science and you want to go charging down this path, but I also see links for prepared horseradish. And I will say,
you're really going to say horseradish. I was about to make a joke about you saying horseradish, but you really are.
Horseradish is a spicy thing. There's some heat to that, so there could be
come on
but it would take us through a disambiguation, which you love. The disambiguation for heat would get us squarely into the mix.
Well, I do see horseradish in a number of places here. Prepared horseradish takes us to the same place as just horseradish does. So your argument is horseradish. My argument is Austria or PBS. Actually, I changed to PBS.
Yeah, I would rather do PBS over Austria just because the geographical route.
Sure. No. Well, but we'd be going geographical to get to people, which we wouldn't be taking a full geographical. Like we're not going to wind up in the place heat death of the universe, right? So, Buffalo
heat death
Wild
of the universe,
Wings,
Michigan is the city. Yeah.
Buffalo Wild Wings is on here. I want to say that's a sign of the end times, right?
I don't know. I've only been to a Buffalo Wild Wings in the before times, and back when I was pre-keto. And I will say this, that since my dietary change and I'm eating meat now, that I love eating wings. I eat wings all the damn time.
They're great. They're great. Wings are great. Wings are buffalo flavored anything is one of my favorite flavors. Put that with a little bit of blue cheese and I'm yours. Which, it was just Valentine's Day. So, it is interesting to point out. I don't know if anybody has ever, speaking of Buffalo Wild Wings, it's often called BW3 and people are always confused because it's Buffalo Wild Wings. Why is it 3? It's actually used to be Buffalo Wild Wings and Weck. And that was the 3. So Wild Wings, Weck, those were the 3 W's. So I think it's an interesting thing that a lot of people don't know. And now you know it. So there's trivia for you folks.
The more you know.
Yeah. So where do you want to go then? What's your argument then? You think horseradish or PBS?
I was only doing horseradish to be contrarian and to make us pause before we jumped into something, but I think PBS is probably the best route.
Then let's do it. Let's go to PBS and see. Now I don't know that they're going to list the shows on there that have been on, but you never know.
I bet they list some of them.
I bet they do. I bet for
Antiques
instance,
Roadshow.
Yeah.
Barney and Friends.
Yeah, I see a bunch of them on here, actually. Masterpiece Theater, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Nova. There's Nova. The Teletubbies, Sesame Street. Of course.
Fantastic. There is a section on programming, which has a link to list of programs broadcast by PBS.
Okay.
But again, mentions many of the popular ones down here: Masterpiece Theater, Downton Abbey, American Family, Journey of Dreams, Nova, Nature.
Yeah, Nature and Nova are both on here, and I feel like those are going to be probably pretty good ones to follow or to take. Looking to see if Red Dwarf is on here as well. So there's a science fiction show.
Indeed.
I don't know if they ever did. Oh, the Red Green Show is on here. Oh man, do you ever watch the Red Green Show?
Is that a Canadian one?
Yeah.
I have did he wear like that red and black plaid lumberjack shirt? Is that who I'm thinking of?
I guess I thought he wore red and green lumberjack shirts, but it could have been red and black.
I never watched the show. I only have vague memories of it being referenced and seeing a visual.
Fantastic. Very, very funny show. You should watch it. You would definitely enjoy it.
I'll put a note down to do that.
I think I have one of their Christmas episodes on DVD somewhere. Because funny stuff. I'm looking to see if there's anything more on here. If perhaps Cosmos is mentioned. I see Newton's Apple talked about on here. Upset to not see Square One Television anywhere. I would have expected that to be on here.
Square One Television.
You didn't know Square One? Square One was like it was your math version of a not quite Reading Rainbow, but it was math stuff, but it was like skits about math. So there was like a Dragnet parody. Skits? There was a MathNet was like the Dragnet parody, and there's a whole bunch of great Math Man was on there. He's like little.
Look here, Missy. We're trying to find out if the square root of 2 is a rational number. Yeah, and I need answers.
Yes, that is exactly what it was.
That sounds like something that is made purposely just for a young Matt Hartman.
Oh, it was great. It was a lot of fun to watch. You'd enjoy it too. I see Super Y on here, which I now know of because of my child. Also, Sid the Science Kid, another thing that my child watches.
There's a lot of quality. You have to watch this because
Super Y is.
But you feel better letting your kid watch TV all day when it's something quasi-educational, as opposed to, hey, here's people poking each other in the eye for 90 minutes.
That's correct. Though I was just showing my daughter Looney Tunes cartoons this afternoon. So, I'm not too.
But that's also part of a classical education.
Yeah, for sure.
Like HBO Max has the Looney Tunes finally available online when they hadn't been previously in digital form. So. Mm-hmm. Having like What's Up Doc and the Rabbit of Seville and all that jazz.
Yes, yeah.
What's Opera Doc is what I meant.
We just watched. I forget the actual name of it. It's like Hot Rabbit on Fire, maybe, or something like that. And it's the duck season, rabbit season.
I love that one.
Just fantastic. Just classic television, folks.
And they made this smart choice to edit out all the crazy racist ones.
You don't find those anywhere, which is great.
I found some on YouTube and showed it to Maddie just to be like, hey, just so you know, they made this crap too.
Right. So. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm feeling very drawn to Nova or Nature. Personally,
I agree with you. Although I'm going to go hard for Nova and say Nature is just a bunch of animal documentaries. I stand by that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I do feel that Nova is probably a better one to go with. I think it's going to have a higher percentage chance of hitting
of physics
what we want with the heat death of the universe. Heck, there could have been a Nova episode about that. So I say Nova. Let's Nova
it is.
Away. It's a television program, folks. It's a science television program.
Indeed. And you would think, hey, here's a list of all the Nova episodes. And there is a list, but it's not on this page. There's a link to it. But I feel like, you know what? We're going to look around before we just jump in.
Yeah, because right at the top here, there's topics covered include. We've got the Drake equation on there. Elementary particles, Mount St. Helen.
Does it have Lagrangian point?
Look what's on here. Fermat. Fermat's last theorem is on here.
Fermat.
I can't believe Fermat is back. Welcome back, Fermat. I'm going to toast you.
The AIDS epidemic, global warming.
Untersea Boot, 869.
There you go.
Untersea Boats go diving.
What's Untersea Boat 869?
That's I don't know. It's a famous German submarine, I guess. I mean, it's a wreck discovered off the coast of New Jersey in 1991.
Huh.
So there you go.
There
I
you
didn't
go,
know
indeed.
specifically what it was, but Untersea Boat I know is a U-boat. That's a U-boat, as they call it. Okay, well, we come down here. The Elegant Universe is linked. String theory, special effects. So that might be a good in right there. The Elegant Universe.
I saw that as well, and I thought the same thing. And I got to say, I'm a little frustrated because right now we're agreeing on a whole lot, and I feel like that doesn't make good audio entertainment.
No,
so
I agree.
I'm gonna arbitrarily pick another one to be obstinate and contrarian and gin up some of that heat and spice that makes this the exciting podcast that we promised at the beginning. Otherwise, we're just going to agree ourselves to a quick conclusion.
Because you're afraid this is the heat death of Drunkard's Walk, is what you're saying.
That's exactly what I'm worried about, is that we will have reached maximum entropy by the time this episode ends.
Yeah.
So I will say that Decoding the Weather Machine at the bottom links astrophysicist David Morrison. An astrophysicist is linked there. So whereas if we were to click on the Elegant Universe, certainly it's going to take us to a description of, hey, here's this episode and here are things that are covered in it. I feel like if we go straight into astrophysics, which by the way was the science that you mentioned at the top that you felt had the best in for heat death of the universe.
Yeah, I think I might have said astronomy, but it could have said that. I'm not sure. Yeah,
I feel like astrophysics is better than astronomy.
Whoa, gosh, all right, laying it down.
Not just as a way of getting to heat death of the universe, but also just as a discipline itself. I think astrophysicists look at astronomers and think they're chump ass bitches.
Well, the eagle-eared listener will recall perhaps that I mentioned that I was actually majoring in astronomy and astrophysics when I first entered college. So I consider them very similar personally. But that's just on me. So I'll point out also there's a link for string theory. There's also a link for Horizon, which is another television show, which was a science television show. So those are also possibilities.
There are so many of them to think about. Does string theory say anything about the heat death of the universe?
No, I don't think so. But string theory probably is going to get you to something like black holes, which is, I think, would be connected in some way or another. But, I don't know. Probably not.
You're grasping at strings.
Oh, I am. Now, I'm grasping it. Theoretically, I am. I mean, I'm not going to say for sure.
I see what you did there. I feel like astrophysicist is the way to go.
No, the Elegant Universe is definitely the Elegant Universe is definitely the way to go, and you know that it's true. So
I don't know that it's true. What really? What is the Elegant Universe going to get us to? It's going to get us to a particular scientific topic. And guess what astrophysics is going to get us to? It's going to get us to particular astrophysical scientific topics.
Well, I want to be clear here. Astrophysicists or astrophysics, yeah. All right. I guess you're right. Hold on.
My gravitational pull has drawn you in with a force that is equivalent to a product of our masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between us.
Lord. What about Cold War?
Math detective. What?
Oh, Cold War is linked on here, and you wanted to do something about heat earlier, so I thought cold you might also enjoy. Shackleton
maybe Cold War can get us to horseradish.
Mountain of Ice. Yeah, there you go. National Science Foundation.
I'm having, especially given the fact that I'm not drinking booze tonight, I'm having a hell of a time pronouncing the word horseradish.
I know. What's the problem over there?
I keep wanting to say horseradish.
Horseradish? Like Horseshack?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just like residual drunk from the booze I had a week ago.
That could be. That could be. That was a lot. I think, I don't know. You might be right. Astrophysics might be the way to go. The Drake equation, no. Vinland, no.
Just
Mummies? No.
while you're dickering around and trying to find
No, I'm going with you.
variant.
I'm gonna go with you. But what do you want to say in the meantime?
I do want to highlight here that they do have a list of Emmy award winning episodes of Nova, and the titles of them, I think some of them merit mentioning.
Please, by all means.
Here's Looking at You, Kid. Suicide Mission to Chernobyl.
Yeah.
Wow. Secret of the Wild Child, which I really want to look at that because it's about a feral child. Who doesn't love feral child documentaries?
I don't know. Not me.
Decoding Nazi Secrets, presumably about the Enigma machine.
And probably the squids under the ocean.
Almost certainly. Galileo's Battle for the Heavens. Who doesn't love a good Galileo story? Mountain of Ice, Shackleton's Voyage of Endurance. Love that stuff.
Yeah.
All interesting stuff. And The Elegant Universe, which, I'm sure I watched it. It was lovely, but it's no astrophysics. I'll tell you that.
You didn't mention Battle of the X-Planes.
I didn't.
I mean, that's pretty great. Battle of the X-Planes. I sort of love that. All right. I'm going to give in and go along with you to astrophysicist. To actually astrophysics is what that links to, because I think there's a good chance that might actually have what we're looking for. And I still haven't found what I'm looking for. So
let's do it.
I think it was Bono that said something about that. So, we're definitely going to find stuff on here about entropy. And that's if the heat death of the universe isn't on this page already, entropy.
It's almost certainly a link to something that does have it. Yeah.
Right. So just taking a look through the Hertzsprung-Russell diagrams on here for classifying stars and their evolution, of course.
I love a good Hertzsprung-Russell diagram.
Gravitational waves.
Neutrino astronomy.
Yeah. Oh, I do see the Big Bang. So there is, if we don't see heat death of the universe, I think Big Bang is going to be the way to go, because I think there's going to be kind of like the opposite of this is.
There you go.
That's my guess.
I like the idea. Have we been to Big Bang before?
I don't think so.
Drunkards Monk?
I don't think so.
I feel like we flirted with something around there. I could be wrong.
Maybe when we were doing the episode about the Lagrangian point, perhaps we talked about it, but I don't
possibly.
Think so, though. I do see cosmic inflation, which is, of course, when money's not worth as much as it once was on other planets.
Nope.
Pretty sure that's right. Dark matter not linked, of course, but interesting. So I don't actually see entropy.
You don't see entropy?
I don't. Did you see it already?
How is that? It's got to be here.
Did you see it? I didn't.
It's got to be here.
I might have missed it. There's a lot of links on here, folks. There's some ultraviolet, there's some X-ray, some gamma ray, some infrared astronomy going on. Wavelengths.
Thermodynamics.
I bet we could get to impossible color from here, no problem. Thermodynamics. I mean, thermodynamics might be a possible connection, although I feel like it's a number of steps away. Whereas Big Bang, I'll bet yous might be the way to go. Descartes. Oh, no. Yeah, no, they didn't put him before the horse. That's good.
There is. Oh, God. I was too busy scanning for possible links. I didn't have a chance to put in a timely groan for that joke. So there is a link for physical cosmology, which of course is a branch of cosmology concerned with the study of cosmological models. And I feel like, if anything, the heat death of the universe would come into play for one of those.
Oh, gosh. I thought I had a good one for us here. Well, maybe. Galaxy formation and evolution.
Yeah, but the problem is the heat death of the universe is something that happens to the universe and not to galaxies. So
that's fair. That's fair.
You don't have a heat death of a galaxy.
That's true. And there is no evolution of the galaxy here. Oh, wait a minute.
What?
There's a link to Ultimate Fate of the Universe.
Ooh, where is this?
It's up in the second paragraph, 2 lines down. It says, and the origin and Ultimate Fate of the Universe, and it's linked.
Ooh, Ultimate Fate of the Universe. Fantastic. I'm very excited.
That's got to be. Yeah.
I feel like the end is nigh.
Indeed. The end is nigh. Let's go to Ultimate Fate of the Universe.
Fantastic. So it is a topic in physical cosmology whose theoretical restrictions allow possible scenarios for the evolution and ultimate fate of the universe.
Okay.
Big Bang, 13.82 million, cosmology, yada, yada, dark matter, dark energy.
Yeah.
There's got to be something. Where is it? Did you see it? Did you see it?
Oh, I can't. No, I don't see it.
All right. So there is I see there's a link for theories about the end of the universe, which takes us further down the path. And the first one is the big freeze or heat death.
There it is. Heat death. And that links to
heat death
of the universe.
Let us click upon it.
There it is, baby.
Look at that. We made it. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine.
The universe. Holy cow. I can't believe that Ultimate Fate of the Universe has its own page. But like the heat death is one particular scenario. So it's like, for sure. How is the universe going to die this way? You know what? I would like to take a brief look at the other possible ways, just for those of you who during the pandemic and the collapse of our political structures haven't had enough to worry about and would like some more specific alternatives. You're talking about the other ways. Well, before we do that, let's just explain real quickly the heat death of the universe. Is a theory on the ultimate fate of the universe, which suggests that the universe would evolve to a state of no thermodynamic free energy and would therefore be unable to sustain processes that increase entropy. Mm-hmm. So there you go. The heat
does not imply any particular absolute temperature.
Right.
It only requires that the temperature differences of other processes may no longer be exploited to perform work.
Right. Right. Or other processes, just to be clear, not of other processes, but
thermodynamic equilibrium.
Mm-hmm. There it is.
So that is one leading candidate for possible ways that the universe could end. Some of the other ones are the Big Rip, which is a rate of acceleration of the universe not large enough to destroy local structures like galaxies, which are held together by gravity. Mm-hmm. The Big Crunch, which would be the opposite of the Big Bang, where everything, think of like a big rubber band you've stretched out, it just comes back.
See, I just think about a big Nestle's Crunch. So
there you go. There's also one called the Big Slurp, which posits that the universe currently exists in a false vacuum and that it could become a true vacuum at any moment. And it's called the Big Slurp.
Wow. The Big Slurp.
And then there's
the Big Bounce. Yeah, we didn't talk about the Big Bounce.
There's also the Big Lebowski, and there's also the Elon Musk simulation, where we, of course, are living in a computer simulation, and somebody walks by the universe and knocks the cord out from the outlet, and then the universe just disappears as a blink.
Yeah, that's no good. I see that. And this is, we're back on Ultimate Fate of the Universe page, to be clear, in case anybody's wondering. Freeman Dyson is linked on there. And I don't know how much you know about Dyson Sphere, but it's always been an interesting idea to me. So. I see that on the heat death page, Lord Kelvin is the one that kind of proposed this in the first place. So
my man,
he
knew a thing or two about temperature.
That's the 1850s. Yeah, so much so they named it after him. So there you go. Well, this is great. That honestly, I'll tell you what, Jethro, I think I'm going to be in trouble here because that took us far less time than I thought it was going to.
Oh, did you?
I didn't know that Beef on Weck was going to get us there quite so quickly. It took us 5 steps, much like last week, 5 steps to get from Beef on Weck to the heat death of the universe.
Man. So what a journey it was.
Let's talk a little bit about our predictions. I'll reveal mine first this week, because I think last week you did yours. Or no, I did mine first last week. So you got to tell me first. What'd you do?
Which camera am I? Here we go. 6. I guess 6.
6.
I guess 6 steps from Beef on Weck to the heat death of the universe. And you guessed 6 as well.
I did.
What was with all this? I think I'm in trouble nonsense when you were only 1 off.
Because last week I put 6 and you put 5 and you won. So I thought you would have put 5 again.
Like I only guessed one thing?
Yeah. Well, I only guessed one thing, apparently. I guess 2 weeks in a row, maybe 3 weeks. I don't even remember what I guessed the week before that.
You got my hopes up artificially,
Sorry.
and I don't appreciate it.
Sorry.
You're really bringing me down here.
Didn't mean to do that. But
boy,
that means...
I wish you were the heat death of the universe.
See, here we are, right back to, is this because we didn't talk at all about Valentine's Day, Jethro. How did it go for you?
We didn't.
Did you have a good Valentine's Day?
It went superbly. I got Christy exactly what she wanted. She got me exactly what I wanted. We celebrated the amazing unity of our nation following the first month of Joe Biden's presidency.
Sure.
Just how everything is stitched together, and we all join hands and sing songs in harmony because the country is finally unified, which has been great.
Jethro, I got to call bullshit on all that because I already told everybody we're recording this in January. So what are you doing? Why are you lying to people?
Wow. Because you explicitly, I was yes-anding you. God damn it, Matt. You set me up.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It feels good. No, that's great. I'm sure that all those things will happen and will come true. And we'll tell you about it. I don't know if we ever record an episode around Valentine's Day, we'll tell you what really happened. So wait till March or April and you'll find out how our Valentine's Days really went.
That's right. When you're listening, somewhere around April Fool's Day, you'll finally learn how
that's right.
Hartman's Valentine's Day.
Did you want to see what else linked into Heat Death of the Universe? Were you curious about that at all, or do you not care?
We can surely take a gander. I suspect it's a lot of physics terms.
The Big Bang is indeed in there. So
the book of Daniel from the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Also the book of Revelation.
Dark matter, energy, entropy, Hubble, Dyson, Newton.
Eschatology.
Any of these would have gotten us in here. Pandemic.
Look at that.
Well. Ragnarok. Oh, we should have gone that path.
Millennialism.
What an interesting Hubble's law.
Yeah, so there's definitely an end of the world sort of flavor.
There is, for sure. Nuclear warfare, I see on there. Apocalypse.
Transhumanism. Those are all
World War III.
Wow. Something to look forward to.
Yeah, so you're right. We could have absolutely gone through second law of thermodynamics. There we go.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so gray goo.
Gray goo.
Well, I thought isn't that what they eat in Beauty and the Beast?
No, that's what they called Baby Yoda.
Oh, right. Gray goo. Right. Okay. Yeah, a lot of things would have gotten you in here. A lot of them a lot more fun than what we did. So, hey, folks, why don't you go on your own Drunkard's Walk? Why don't you find your own path in here and tell us about it?
Take yourself out on your own Valentine's Day Wikipedia date.
That's right. And do a little walk. See if you can beat us getting here. And don't try using some algorithm or 6 degrees of Wikipedia or any of that garbage. Do it yourself and send us an email or post on our social media. Tell us what you're doing out there, folks. Yeah, we want to hear from you because we love you. We really do. Right. Well, I do. I don't want to speak for you, Jethro.
I mean, I'm married. I like a lot of you, but love is a strong word.
You can love without it being romantic love.
All right. I feel agape towards you.
That's what they make tequila with, right?
See, you could have left it there, and everybody would have. There's some knowing Greek scholars who would have been like, "Yes, agape. That is the type of love I want to receive from my podcast hosts."
Well, cheers.
Cheers to you, sir. Happy Valentine's Day.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Okay, so here we are in Niagara Falls.
Canada.
Yeah, Canada. And we're specifically at a place called Niagara Escapement.
Look at that.
Yeah, and if you are an avid listener of the podcast, then you may remember that we talked to a gentleman from this very place, and he's over there. There he is. He's here in person.
Yeah. And help refresh my memory, Matt.
I knew you were going to do this.
What was the suggestion that he gave us?
He actually gave us 2 suggestions.
What was the second one?
The second one?
What was the first one? What was the worst one?
The anal leakage was the worst one.
Okay, there we go.
That was the first one, though, I think.
So
the second one was...
No one remembers.
No, do you remember?
Was it mantis shrimp?
No, it wasn't mantis shrimp. It was you. Why you keep attributing things that Dave Becker gave us to other people? It was something.
Sorry, Dave.
Oh, it was the heat death. All right, hey everybody, it's Matt Hartman here, along with
Jethro Nolan.
That's right. And we just did some escape rooms at Niagara Escapement. Of course, that's Rob Leveille's escape room company in Niagara Falls. And you just heard the episode where we went to Heat Death of the Universe, his topic. We talked a little bit about Niagara Escapement at the top of the episode. And we finally got to do the rooms. Jethro, what'd you think?
They were fantastic. I had been here previously in 2019, and the room I did at that point was fantastic. The production values are incredible. The puzzles themselves are very creative. The through line of the story is very fun. My biggest criticism was that I did them with you.
Oh,
and you were very good at escape rooms, so we got out very quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas
Sorry about that.
If it had just been Christy and I, we would have taken much longer and possibly never gotten out. So
yeah, we did do this with our wives, who you all may be familiar with if you listened to past episodes, and we did the first one we did was Easy Bake Coven, and it was a witch themed, like Hansel and Gretel. Would you say Hansel and Gretel themed?
I would say there was definitely the threat of cannibalism.
Yeah.
Present. For
sure. Very fun. A little bit of a change of venue within it, which I always like, a change of venue in an escape room. And a lot of fun puzzles. So, and I would say that room would be a good one for if you have like kids, not super young kids, but like kids that you want to do an escape room with. I would recommend that one because I think that there's some puzzles in there they could really sink their teeth into.
There we go. I see what you did there.
And then what was the second one?
The second one was the Apocalypse Bunker.
End of the bleeping world, I think, is something like that.
I don't remember the titles, but it was very fun. And again, it had sort of a first chamber that you had to solve a few puzzles in before you got to a second, and then possibly third, fourth, fifth. I can't even tell you how many rooms were in that one.
Yeah, it did have several rooms. I won't say how many, and I won't tell you. We don't want to give away information about puzzles, obviously, because if you go and do these rooms, which you should, if you're in Niagara Falls, Canadian side of Niagara Falls, look up Niagara Escapement. Go check out these rooms. They are very, very well done. And they were a lot of fun. They were fun to do as well, which is not always the case. I've done escape rooms where it's been like, oh, that was really challenging, like almost too challenging to the point where I didn't enjoy it. But that wasn't the case here.
No, they were very enjoyable. There's a lot of creativity. And again, the production values are off the charts as far as like the quality of the props and the built environment and just a lot of creativity around all of the puzzles and how it was done. It was super enjoyable. I will also point out that something I did not know while we were physically present there at Niagara Escapement, but something I discovered as we were driving home, that Niagara Escapement is actually a play on words for the Niagara Escarpment.
Yeah, he told us that. He told us that in the episode.
I was not paying attention.
Okay.
I'm usually not listening to anybody else on the podcast. I'm just waiting for my own turn to speak.
Sure.
But yeah, it didn't stick in my brain, but we passed a sign calling out the Niagara Escarpment. And yeah, I thought that was fun. It heightened my enjoyment because I love nothing more than a good geological pun escape room name.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, folks, go check them out. There's a third one opening sometime soon, I believe, as well, in that same location. So go enjoy. Thanks to Rob. Thanks to Niagara Escapement for hosting us. We really had a great old time doing it, and we hope to go back there again sometime. And we also hope that you will join us for season 7 of Drunkard's Walk starting next week. That's right, October 11th, our first episode of season 7 will drop. If you are not subscribing, go ahead and do that. Give us a rating, give us a review on iTunes, because that tells the algorithm that we are good somehow. I don't know why or how, but it does. And check out our Linktree. That's Linktree /Drunkard's Walk. And you can get to all of our different things there, including the sheet that lets you give us topic suggestions. And we want your topic suggestions, so please give them to us. Join our Patreon if you want to support us. That's great. Or if you want to support us, you can go ahead and buy a t-shirt over at TeePublic. Get yourself a Drunkard's Walk t-shirt and walk around and people will say, "What's that?" You can go, it's a podcast that I heard one time. So that's it. That's all the plugs. Jethro, you got anything to plug?
No, just to keep being nice to other humans.
Oh, yeah, definitely do that. Thanks, everybody. Take care.